3 viral clips. Combined views. Over 40 million. Each one carries the same promise, that compound interest will make you wealthy, that time is on your side, and that all you need to do is start. But here is what none of them will tell you. The math they are using was built for a 22-year-old. If you are 40, 45, or 50, the rules are fundamentally different, and the advice you have been absorbing for years may be the very thing quietly holding you back. Today, I am reacting to 3 of the most shared compound interest videos on the internet. I am going to validate what is right, and I am going to dismantle what is dangerously wrong. Because there is a version of compound interest that genuinely works for you, but it looks nothing like what they have been selling. If you have ever watched one of these videos and walked away feeling more discouraged than motivated, stay with me. This one was built for exactly where you are right now. Let me be clear about something before we get into it. I am not here to tear down financial education. The idea that compound interest is powerful, that is absolutely true. It is one of the most important forces in personal wealth building, and anyone who tells you otherwise is doing you a disservice. But there is a gap. A significant, costly gap between how compound interest is taught online and how it actually functions for someone starting their wealth journey later in life. I have reviewed hundreds of these viral clips, and the pattern is always identical. A compound interest chart, a starting age of 22, a retirement horizon of 65, and a final number designed to make your jaw drop. What they never show you is that same chart starting at 42, or 47, or 50. That chart tells a different story, and if you do not understand why, and more importantly what to do about it, you will spend the next decade applying the wrong strategy to the right idea. Today we fix that. 3 clips, 3 myths, 3 corrections. By the time this video is over, you will not only understand why the conventional advice falls short, you will know exactly what to replace it with. The first clip I want to react to is one you have almost certainly seen because it has been shared millions of times across every major platform. It shows 2 investors. Investor A starts at 22 and invests $5,000 a year for exactly 10 years, then stops entirely. Investor B starts at 32, invests $5,000 a year for 33 consecutive years, and never misses a contribution. And at age 65, Investor A wins by a significant margin, despite having invested for a fraction of the time. This is called the early bird example. It is taught in virtually every introductory finance course, and the intention behind it is sound. Start early and let time do the compounding for you. But here is what this clip, and the 1,000 clips built on the same template, never addresses. What if you are already 42? What if that 10-year window is already behind you? What if you did not have $5,000 a year to invest at 22 because you were servicing student debt, raising children, building a business, or simply trying to keep the lights on? This clip does not help you. It shames you. And shame, as I have said before, is not a financial strategy. The deeper problem is that content like this frames starting age as the only variable that matters, as though rate of return, contribution velocity, and strategic positioning are completely irrelevant. They are not irrelevant. They are precisely where late starters build their most powerful advantage. And that is what the viral version will never teach you. I want to pause here and ask you something directly. How many times have you heard the phrase, "It's too late"? Not from an enemy, not from someone who wished you harm, from a YouTube video. From a well-meaning financial influencer, from the comment section beneath a retirement calculator that spat out a number that made your stomach drop. Drop a number in the comments right now, 1 to 10, and tell me honestly how many times content like this has made you feel like the window was already closed, like the opportunity had passed, like there was no point in even beginning. I am asking because I want you to see something clearly. The "it's too late" narrative is not financial education. It is financial paralysis, and it is one of the most quietly destructive ideas circulating in personal finance content today. Here is the truth that the early bird chart conveniently omits. Compound interest is not only about time, it is about rate, consistency, and strategic positioning. A 45-year-old with a clear 20-year investment runway, aggressive but disciplined contribution rates, and a well-structured asset allocation can genuinely outperform the passive investor who started at 22 and never once revisited or refined their strategy. That is not a motivational speech designed to make you feel better. That is mathematics. The variable they always adjust in these viral clips is starting age. The variable they never adjust is strategy. And strategy is exactly where late starters win. So let us talk about what that strategy actually looks like, because the shame-based content model will never give you this answer. Here is my verdict on the early bird clip. Partially true and dangerously incomplete. Yes, starting early carries real mathematical advantages, and I will never dispute that fact. But framing it as, "you have already lost if you are past 30, is not education. It is discouragement dressed up as data, and it serves the content creator's views far more than it serves your wealth. The correction is this. If you are starting compound interest investing at 40 or later, your variable is not time. You cannot change that. Your variables are rate of return and contribution velocity. That means 3 specific actionable things. First, maximize your tax-advantaged accounts before anything else. Every dollar you shelter from taxation compounds alongside your investment returns, giving you a structural advantage before the market even opens. Second, choose assets with historically stronger compounding rates, specifically low-cost index funds with minimal fee drag, where your money is working for you rather than subsidizing a fund manager's salary. Third, increase your contribution percentage aggressively during a defined sprint window rather than relying on a slow, passive drip that assumes you have 5 decades ahead of you. The late starter's playbook is not the same as the early starter's playbook. And the fact that viral finance content continues to present only one of those playbooks is the reason so many people over 40 feel invisible in financial conversations. You are not invisible. You are simply using the wrong map. The second clip I want to react to is built around the Rule of 72, one of the most widely cited formulas in personal finance content. If you are not familiar with it, here is how it works. Divide 72 by your annual rate of return, and the result tells you approximately how many years it will take for your invested money to double. At a 7% return, your money doubles in roughly 10 years. At 10%, approximately 7 years. At 12%, just 6. The viral version of this content makes the whole process sound almost effortless. Just achieve a 10% return and your money doubles every 7 years. And the comment sections beneath these videos are always the same. Thousands of people writing, "This is so simple, why didn't they teach us this in school?" The reason they did not teach you this in school, at least not in the way it is being presented online, is because it is genuinely not as simple as it appears. The Rule of 72 is a useful mental shortcut, but the way it is packaged and distributed online strips out every variable that actually determines whether you hit that return in the real world. Inflation, management fees, tax drag, sequence of returns risk, none of these appear in the viral version. What you are being shown is an idealized best-case scenario with every friction point removed, and that version of reality has never existed for any real investor. Here is the number that viral content never shows you. The average expense ratio on actively managed mutual funds is 0.68% annually. That number sounds small until you run the actual calculation. On a $100,000 portfolio generating 7% annual returns over 20 years, that fee structure alone costs you over $30,000 in lost compounding, money that was supposed to be working for you, quietly transferred instead to someone else's bottom line. Then there is inflation. At a 7% nominal return against 3% average annual inflation, your real purchasing power return is closer to 4%. Run the Rule of 72 on that number, and your money doubles in 18 years, not 10. And then there is the factor most critical to late starters, sequence of returns risk. If the market experiences a significant downturn in your first 5 years of serious investing and you are approaching your target retirement window shortly after, compound interest does not rescue you. The sequence in which your returns arrive matters as much as the average return itself. And no viral clip about the Rule of 72 will ever explain this to you because it does not make for a shareable headline. My verdict? Useful shortcut? Dangerous oversimplification? The correction is this: always calculate with real return rates, net of inflation and fees. For late starters, build your portfolio to actively reduce sequence risk through a bucket strategy or a glide path allocation. The math is still on your side, but only when you are working with honest numbers. I want to tell you about a man I will call David. David was 51 years old when he first found this channel. 20 years in middle management, a good salary, 0 meaningful savings, 2 significant financial setbacks that cost him years of progress, 3 children, and a mortgage that felt less like a home and more like a sentence he had signed without fully reading the terms. He had watched compound interest videos, dozens of them, and each one left him feeling progressively more hopeless than the last. Because they all told the same story. Start early, time is everything, and if you did not start in your 20s, you have already fallen too far behind to meaningfully catch up. The comment he left on one of my videos said this: I feel like the game is already over, like I missed my window and there's nothing left to do but accept it and try to survive on what I've got. Here is what I told him. The game is not over. The rules just changed. David does not have 40 years. He has 14 years to traditional retirement, perhaps 20 if he chooses to extend his earning window strategically. But 14 years of aggressive, disciplined, strategically structured compounding, with a 15% contribution rate to his 401k, maximizing the 2026 catch-up limit of $2,400, deployed into low-cost, diversified index funds with a glide path allocation. Projects to over $340,000 in compound growth. That figure excludes employer match. It excludes Social Security. It excludes any additional income streams he builds in parallel. That is not the 22-year-old's chart, but it is a real number, built on real math, and it begins the moment you reject the story that the window is permanently shut. The third clip I want to react to is the most viral of them all, and I believe it is doing the most quiet damage of any piece of financial content being circulated right now. You have seen it. Invest just $100 a month starting at 25. At a 10% annual return, you will have over $600,000 by retirement at 65. Millions of shares, millions of views. And on the surface, mathematically speaking, it is technically accurate. But here is where this clip becomes genuinely dangerous for the person watching at 42. For that person, invest $100 a month is not a wealth-building strategy, it is a symbolic gesture. At 42, with a 23-year runway at a 10% return, $100 a month generates approximately $97,000, not $600,000. Because the compounding curve is dramatically front-loaded toward the early decades, the first 20 years are where the exponential growth concentrates most of its power. If you enter the curve at year 20, you are capturing the tail end, and the numbers look nothing like the chart they use to go viral. This is not a reason to despair. It is not a reason to stop, but it demands a completely different number than what the content prescribed, and that number is specific, calculable, and achievable. Viral content will never give you the real figure, because the real figure is harder to make shareable. But it is the only number that will actually change your financial outcome. Before I give you the corrected number, I need you to do one thing right now. If this video is changing the way you think about compound interest, if you are beginning to see that the math you have been handed was incomplete, that the tools you were given were designed for someone else's timeline, hit the like button right now, not for me, for the algorithm. Because this conversation needs to reach more people over 40 who are making long-term financial decisions based on numbers that were never calculated with them in mind. Your engagement is the signal that makes that reach possible. And if you have not subscribed yet, the next video in this series targets a piece of conventional financial wisdom that is even more widely believed and even more wrong than anything I have covered today. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you see it the moment it drops. Now, the corrected number. At age 42, to reach $500,000 by 65, at a 7% real return after accounting for inflation and fees, you need to consistently invest somewhere between $850 and $1,000 per month without interruption. That sounds significantly harder than $100, because it is, but knowing the real number is the first and most important step toward building a real plan. And a real plan, even a harder one, is worth 10 times more than a comfortable myth that makes you feel momentarily inspired before you go back to doing nothing differently. Here is what the viral clips will never show you. Compound interest for late starters is not a passive strategy. It is an active one. It requires what I call the compounding sprint, a defined 5 to 7 year period of maximum contribution intensity that front-loads your wealth building to compensate for the years you did not begin. There are 4 principles at the foundation of this framework. First, maximize every tax-advantaged account available to you before investing a single dollar elsewhere: your 401k, your IRA, your HSA. The tax savings are themselves a compounding mechanism, and every dollar you protect from taxation grows alongside your investment returns. Second, deploy capital into low-cost index funds with expense ratios below 0.10%. Because every basis point in fees is a basis point being quietly stolen from your future wealth. Third, eliminate all high-interest debt above 7% before investing aggressively, because any debt above that threshold is mathematically reversing your compounding progress before it has a chance to take hold. And fourth, automate every contribution and never pause. Behavioral interruption is the single greatest destroyer of compound growth for late starters. A 6-month pause at 47 is far more costly than the same pause at 27, because you are already operating in the steeper part of the curve where momentum matters most. Remove the decision from yourself entirely. Automate it, protect it, and do not touch it. And to make this entire framework effortless to track and execute, we are building the Trip2 Wealth Command Center, a Google Sheets system that brings your income, spending, investing, and net worth together in one place. It is your personal strategy hub, designed to expose money leaks, highlight growth opportunities, and show precisely how small, consistent decisions compound into real, measurable wealth over time. Join the early access list below and secure a discount as an early supporter. Every wealth system needs a strategy center, and this is where yours begins. Let me bring this home. You were not lied to about compound interest. You were given an incomplete truth built for someone else's timeline. The early starters chart is real, but it was never your chart. Your path has a shorter runway and a steeper climb, but it leads to the same destination if you are willing to sprint. Maximize your tax-advantaged accounts first. Choose low-fee index funds. Eliminate high-interest debt before you invest aggressively. Automate your contributions so that discipline becomes a system, not a daily decision. And carry this with you. The real number is harder than the one they showed you in the viral clip. But knowing it puts you years ahead of everyone still operating on a comfortable myth. You are not behind. You are on a different path. And the right map, executed with patience and consistency, changes everything. Start today. Remember, this video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice. It is important to conduct thorough research and consult with financial professionals before making any investment decisions. The value of investments can fluctuate, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Always assess your risk tolerance and investment goals before allocating your capital. If you found value in "they lied about compound interest" and gained real insight from what actually works after 40, I highly recommend watching my next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to leave your comment below, especially if this video made you think differently. I appreciate your support more than you know. Until next time, stay consistent, stay patient, and stay winning. See you in the next one, Money Magician.